ever been in, say, a mandatory HR training or maybe just scrolling your newsfeed and you get this gut feeling that the world has actually gone mad?
Not in a fun way.
No, not at all. I mean, up is down, good is evil, silence is now violence, and somehow math is racist. You're just sitting there thinking, am I the only one seeing this?
Like a glitch in the Matrix.
Exactly, a glitch that no one else seems to want to acknowledge. And you get this nagging suspicion that this confusion, it isn't just accidental, it feels like a design.
It feels like a design because, according to the source material we're covering today, it is one. A very deliberate one.
And that's what we're here for.
Oh.
Today we're doing a deep dive into the ebook Derrida Dictionary Attack, Leftist Word Games Making Dissent Unthinkable by Conrad Riker.
And we should be clear, this isn't just a book review.
No. Riker frames this text as a kind of decoder ring for the whole culture war. So if you are a man who is just tired of apologizing for existing, or if you consider yourself red-pilled and you really want to understand the mechanics of the machine, this discussion is for you.
It is a dense, very aggressive text. We're going to go ultra long and incisive today because, frankly, the arguments Riker lays out are complex. And they're disturbing.
He traces how our institutions were captured not by force, but through this very specific weaponization of language.
Right. The words themselves.
Before we jump into the belly of the beast, though, a quick bit of housekeeping. If you want to support this kind of unfiltered analysis, please hit that like button and subscribe right now.
It really does help get this out to more guys who need to hear it.
It does. And look, we're going to give you the tactical overview today, but if you want the full arsenal of arguments, and trust me, there's a lot we can't cover, you need to buy the book immediately.
It's on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books.
Go get it, put it on your device, and read it. So, our mission today is to trace Riker's argument for how institutions didn't just fall, they were captured.
And the primary weapon wasn't guns, it was the dictionary.
Okay, let's unpack that mechanism. Riker's core concept is something he calls satanic inversion. Now, that sounds incredibly intense, almost theological.
It does. But he's not talking about literal devil worship here, though he uses that language to really stress the severity of it.
So it's a metaphor.
He's using it as a diagnostic tool. The concept is a strategy where morality gets flipped 180 degrees. So in this framework, the criminal becomes the victim.
And the police become the oppressors?
Exactly. Competence, being good at your job, is suddenly viewed with suspicion. It's a mirror world where everything is the opposite of what your own eyes tell you.
It's gaslighting on a civilizational scale.
Precisely. And the tool for this is what he calls the dictionary attack. The battle is fought over definitions. Control the dictionary, you control the whole debate.
And he has a specific example for this, right? Merriam-Webster.
A really pivotal one from 2020, the definition of racism.
I remember this vaguely. It used to mean, prejudice against someone based on their race. Pretty simple.
Right. Logical. But Riker argues that in 2020, they didn't just tweak it. They engineered it. The new definition suddenly included a system of advantage.
A system of advantage.
Now, just pause and think about the implication of that. Riker's argument is this change was strategic. It removes individual intent from the equation completely.
So under the old definition, if I'm not prejudiced and I treat everyone equally, I'm not a racist.
Correct. But under the new definition, if racism is a system, and you exist within that system as a white male, you are benefiting from it. Therefore, you are guilty.
By default.
By default. Your personal actions, your character, your intent, none of it matters. You're guilty because of what you are, not what you do.
That's a massive shift. It means you can't defend yourself. The very definition of the crime includes your existence.
The defense is linguistically impossible. Another example he uses is gaslighting.
Okay, that one historically meant what? Making someone think they're crazy, right? From the old movie?
Exactly, a very specific type of psychological manipulation. But Riker argues it's been redefined to mean something like correcting someone's false reality with facts.
Wait, what?
So if someone says, I feel like the sky is green, and you say, actually, look, it's blue, here's the science, you are now the one accused of gaslighting them.
Because you're invalidating their lived experience.
Yes, you are crushing their subjective feeling with objective truth. And in this inverted world, objective truth is the act of aggression.
The book uses a term for this, praxa. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel.
Praxa. It's described as activist warfare by word substitution. The idea is they don't try to win debates anymore. They just redefine the battlefield so your opposition is impossible to even articulate.
It shuts down the conversation before it even starts.
It's a semantic blockade. And he links all of this to a bigger shift from I think to I feel.
Emotionalism as epistemology.
Right. How we know what we know. Riker argues we've reached a point where feelings are treated as superior to facts. He calls out the lived experience fallacy.
That's the idea that a plumber's personal story about a few pipes is somehow equal to a hydrologist's data on the entire water system.
Or even superior to it, because the plumber lived it. His truth is unassailable. And this isn't just a social quirk. The book cites an MIT study.
I saw that, the one about tweets.
Yeah. It showed that angry, illogical tweets get 4 times more engagement than calm, factual ones. The system itself, the algorithm, is built to reward rage, not reason.
An anger factory. So this weapon, this dictionary attack, it isn't just firing blindly. Riker argues it has a very specific target.
It does. And that target is men, specifically fathers.
This is a huge part of his argument, right? This idea that society is now split into 2 categories.
Infants and predators.
Infants and predators. That is a stark divide. Break that down for us.
The infants are the protected class. They need constant protection and face zero consequences because, they're oppressed. The predators are men, fathers, who get taxed, punished, and blamed for everything.
This sounds like the toxic masculinity narrative we hear constantly.
Riker argues that's exactly what it is. A tool to pathologize normal male behavior. He claims the APA guidelines now treat traditional traits like stoicism, protection, strength, as if they're mental illnesses.
The book had that insane example of the Swedish father. I read that and just had to put my tablet down for a minute.
That story is chilling. A father in Sweden ordered by a family court to take emotional literacy training. And you'd assume he was, screaming, throwing things.
Right, you'd think he was out of control.
It was the exact opposite. His crime was that he remained calm and rational. He didn't cry, he didn't break down.
So his stoicism, his ability to hold it together, was seen as a defect.
As a pathology. In a system that rewards emotional outbursts, being calm looks like you're a sociopath. His sanity was evidence of his guilt.
But the example that really gets your blood boiling is the 6-year-old boy, the one in Toronto.
The tag story. A 6-year-old boy runs across a playground, tags a classmate, and the school steps in. They forced him to apologize for unauthorized physical contact.
And they labeled it
Predatory behavior.
predatory behavior. He's 6. It's a game that boys have played for 1,000 years. It's what they do.
And Riker says that is exactly the point. To the modern administrative state, normal boyhood competition, physicality looks like pathology. They're trying to diagnose him, not discipline him. It's the criminalization of being a boy.
And if you kill the boy, you never get the man. This extends to erasing the father figure completely, right? The whole parent 1 and parent 2 thing.
Yes, and he mentions a Canadian school district that did just that. The book claims that after they removed the symbolic authority of father and mother from the paperwork, the place devolved into what the principal called a feral daycare center.
Feral daycare center. Wow.
The argument is that fathers provide a specific kind of symbolic order. When you strip that away and replace it with a generic parent 1, you remove the structure, and chaos follows.
And you see this in pop culture too. The book calls it the Disney dad phenomenon.
Think of King Triton in The Little Mermaid. The father is always a tyrant, standing in the way of his daughter's happiness. The rebellious daughter is the hero. The protective father is the villain. It's cultural programming.
And it's all done under the banner of care. Riker has a section on the care trap.
He says there's real care and fake care. Real care creates resilience. It's the father letting you fall off your bike so you learn to balance. Fake care creates dependency. It creates clients for the state.
Which leads us right into how these ideas capture the institutions. You can't do this level of programming without controlling the schools, the military.
He draws a direct line back to the Frankfurt School, to thinkers like Marcuse and Adorno. The basic idea is that this is a Marxist strategy to dismantle the West.
But not through economics.
No, that failed. So they switched to culture. They specifically targeted what they called the authoritarian personality, which for them was the traditional father. Destroy the father, you destroy the West.
And now you see the results in places you'd least expect. The military, for instance.
The capture of the military is one of the most shocking parts of the book. Riker cites a 2021 Department of Defense report on extremism.
The one about domestic threats?
Yes. That report classified belief in the Constitution as a potential sign of extremist radicalization.
Hold on, wait. Soldiers swear an oath to the Constitution. That's the whole job.
That is the satanic inversion. The very thing you're sworn to defend becomes proof you're a threat. Then there's the Marine officer at Camp Lejeune reprimanded for hanging an American flag at his home.
Just a regular American flag, not a protest flag or anything.
No, just the stars and stripes.
Unbelievable. And it's not just the military. The book goes after the church, too.
Specifically the Episcopal Church. He calls it a case study in feminization. He said it's a budget statistic, that is. Just wild.
I remember this.
The church reportedly spent $4.2 million on gender justice initiatives in 1 year.
And how much on, say, fatherless children?
$180,000.
$4.2 million for ideology, $180,000 for orphans. That says everything, doesn't it?
It shows where the priorities are. And then there's education. The University of Michigan chess team is the prime example of the war on merit.
Chess. How do you make chess political?
Well, the university disbanded its top 5 ranked male chess team, wiped it out, to replace it with a lower ranked female team.
For representation.
Exactly. Riker argues it's the destruction of competence. It's not about who's the best anymore. It's about the quota. And then you have Harvard offering a course called Ethics of Sabotage.
Ethics of sabotage. That sounds like a Bond villain's college course.
It basically taught students how to leak documents and destroy reputations. The world's premier university, institutionalizing the destruction of institutions.
So we have the mechanism, the targets, the captured institutions, but what is going on inside the heads of the people pushing this? Riker calls it narcissism disguised as virtue.
This is the why. He points to a study that found people who identify as highly compassionate are 43% more likely to litter.
That's amazing. I love the planet, but I'm not picking that up.
It's about appearing good, not doing good. He tells an anecdote about a university president.
Oh, the Burgundy guy.
A president earning almost $1 million a year, drinking a $200 bottle of Burgundy, literally weeping during a speech about inequality.
And then gets a big book deal out of it.
The tears are a performance. It's emotionalism as a career move. And this all connects to redefining safety. Safety no longer means physical safety.
It means protection from ideas you don't like.
Exactly. He mentions students demanding a safe space from a lecture on Nietzsche.
Nietzsche. The guy's been dead for over a century. If you can't handle a book, how are you going to handle the world?
You aren't. And Riker argues that's the whole point. To create adults who can only accuse, not reason.
This is a pretty bleak picture, but the book doesn't just leave you there. It does offer a path forward, reclaiming the mind.
This is where he pivots to solutions. And it's not vote harder. He calls for a return to the trivium.
The classical education model, right?
Grammar, logic, and rhetoric. He argues these were deliberately removed from schools and replaced with narrative and identity.
So why do we need them back?
It's the 3 steps of thinking. Grammar is defining your terms. Logic is removing contradictions. Rhetoric is persuading others. He says modern education skips the first 2. It teaches you how to express yourself without teaching you how to know if what you're saying is even true.
So we've created a generation of eloquent parakeets.
That's one way to put it. So the first step is to learn to think again, to define your terms. And he issues a strong call to stoicism.
This ties back to toxic masculinity. He says men need to be stoic because it's about survival.
He uses the firefighter analogy. You don't want a firefighter crying in a burning building. You want them focused. Men are the sacrificial class, yet they're labeled the oppressors. Reclaiming stoicism is about performing your duty regardless of the noise.
And he gives some really actionable advice, like don't apologize.
Right. If you haven't done anything wrong, do not apologize to the mob. It's blood in the water. It only validates their attack.
He also suggests keeping a word audit journal.
It's a practical tool. When you hear a word used in a weird way, write it down. Track how the meaning is shifting. It reminds you that you aren't the one going crazy.
And then the physical stuff. Do hard things.
Cold showers, heavy lifts. It's about building resistance to discomfort. If you can handle a cold shower, you're better prepared to handle being called a bigot for stating a fact.
Reject the privilege narrative.
Adamantly. He says, do not accept the frame that your success is unearned. It's a psychological trick to make you surrender.
The book says that reading this will cause a red pill moment.
It acknowledges you're going to get angry. But Riker argues that anger is the first step to waking up. The goal isn't comfort, it's clarity.
And that brings us to the final conclusion. Riker says this isn't just politics. It's a spiritual and psychological war.
He says the West is rotting from the eyes inward because it has lost its language. If you lose the words to describe reality, you lose reality itself.
So the choice he leaves us with is stark. Go back to sleep or join the fight.
The future is written by those who refuse to be silenced. It's a call to become active participants.
If this fired you up, and I know it did me, you can't just move on. You need this weapon in your arsenal. You have to read the full text. Go buy Derrida Dictionary Attack right now.
Amazon Kindle, Google Playbooks.
Do not wait. And if you want to stay plugged in, follow the author Conrad Riker. He is at Conrad Riker on Twitter or X.
And his Substack is conradriker.substack.com. That's where the real-time analysis is happening.
This book is the decoder ring you've been waiting for. We'll be back soon, but until then, keep your eyes open, watch your words, and don't let them redefine your reality. And one last time, please hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.
Stay sharp.